to make the liberals go grab their pitchforks. This is going to make the standard Democrats absolutely furious and seeing red. Listen to what he says, then we'll break it down.
Do you think that President Biden should pardon Donald Trump? And if so, why?
Yes, I do think so. And I think he should pardon all of those people that have been accused and have been targeted so that we can clean the slate. We can have an air of possibilities for the future. If we keep digging at things of the past, I'm not too sure the country will not lose its way. Now, remember, President Trump has been indicted, has been convicted on state crime. Also, please remember that the United States Supreme Court has given him immunity. And so I'm asking people who question my thought on this to explain to me how he would be any more insulated by this pardon than he seems to already be by the United States Supreme Court. Really, that Joe Biden will be demonstrating what he's always demonstrated to me, that he loves this country more than anything else other than maybe his family. He wants to see this country going forward. He doesn't want to see us keep digging into the past, but moving forward. So I think it would give a tremendous opportunity for him to demonstrate that kind of concern for the future of the country.
So in other words, hey man, he's going to get away with all of this stuff anyway, so you might as well pardon him. You might as well pardon him. Has it ever occurred to James Clyburn, ever, to stand on principle, to do what's right for the sake of doing what's right? Has that ever occurred to him? So he says not only should Biden pardon Donald Trump, he says he should also pardon, he references the January Sixers there. And look, in his mind, this is pre-capitulation. And I think in his own twisted way, he believes, look, if Biden does that, it'll bring the country together and maybe it'll make it so Trump is less interested in vengeance. Where the fuck have you been, dog? Do you know nothing about this guy, Donald Trump? One of the things that frustrates me the most is so many Democrats just memory holding Trump's first term and pretending we don't already know who he is and what he's going to do. Spoiler alert, whatever Biden does will have no bearing on what Trump decides to do. If Trump wants to do political retribution, he will do political retribution. He will get his revenge. He will get his vengeance. In fact, the real conversation you should be having at this moment right now, instead of this nonsense, is, holy shit, Biden better issue a pardon for Jack Smith. Biden better issue a pardon for Letitia James. Biden better issue a pardon for Fonnie Willis. Biden better issue a pardon for everybody that's on that list of political retribution for Trump. Now, I'm not saying if somebody actually commits a crime that you can't go after them. Of course, you can go after the people who actually committed crimes, but Trump has on that list so many people who haven't sniffed a crime, and they were just doing, Jack Smith is just doing his job, trying to uphold the law, bringing the correct charges against Trump, doing an investigation, gathering the evidence, bringing it against Trump. So that's who you should be talking about pardoning, knowing that this guy is unhinged, knowing that he's dangerous, knowing that he's authoritarian, knowing how horrible his first term was, and instead, you want to do a virtue signal pardon of Trump because, hey, he got away with it anyway. What message does that send if you pardon Trump? What message does it send? You know what message it sends? Tee. Sorry, Don and MAGA, you were right all along. This was a political persecution, and we didn't mean it. It wasn't substantive. It wasn't factual. We were unfairly and unjustly targeting you, and now we're pardoning you to say, oops, our bad. I guess we lost this one. Therefore, fuck principle, fuck what's right, fuck the law, fuck justice. Look, I'm under no illusions. I understand that now all the cases are dead now. All of them. Every one. I understand that, right? But still, as a matter of principle, it is correct to have this stuff on the record. That the motherfucker got away with 91 crimes, But yes, he got away with 91 crimes. Don't pardon him and wipe it from the record and pretend like, oops, our bad. Actually, you were right about everything. He wasn't remotely right about everything. He was wrong about everything. For once in your life, James Clyburn, stand on fucking principle. The reality was Donald Trump was charged with 91 crimes because he committed 91 crimes. Instead of cucking yourself to him right now, you should be doing the opposite. You should be reminding everybody who this guy is. This is the guy who, for his hotels and his casinos and all of these business interests, there's been countless stories of him stiffing the plumbers who worked for him, stiffing the electricians who worked for him. Is that a guy who's going to care about the working class and deliver for the working class? Trump scammed people with Trump University. He had to pay out millions of dollars because it was a scam. He scammed people with the Trump charity. Remember those stories? He did tax fraud. He did insurance fraud. He did bank fraud. He stiffed his golf club architect. That was a story that came out relatively recently. This guy was, he built, it was like 800,000 or something like that, maybe even more. And Trump did the first payment up front. But then when it came time for the second payment, Trump said half now, half later. He never paid the second half. He never paid the second half because he knew, hey, I can get away with this. And the guy said, this was in an interview recently, the guy was like, I had no recourse because if I take him to court, guess what? I'm going to have to spend more money to the point where it's not even worth it to recoup the money because I'm just making up the losses I had in court trying to go through the process. This is who this guy is. Never mind the other obvious points. Never mind the conspiracy to defraud the United States where he's trying to discount the votes of millions of people because he doesn't like the outcome. Never mind January 6th. Never mind the fake elector slates. Never mind taking classified documents and whispering them in the ear to a billionaire, Australian billionaire at Mar-a-Lago. Never mind obstructing justice when the FBI said, hey, you have all these things that you're not supposed to have, dog. You got to turn them back. And he was like, sure, I'll do that. Gave back some, kept others, put them from one room in Mar-a-Lago into another. It was in the bathroom. It was in the ballroom. He had his own workers bury the evidence, hide it, try to move it from one place to another place. This is classic obstruction of justice. The number of crimes are endless. And when you get into the specifics, it gets even worse. And instead of saying, hey, let's pardon him, you should be out there reminding people of who this guy is. You should be out there reminding everybody, Trump knew he lost the election, and he tried to steal it anyway. What would you call that? That's called a coup. That's called an insurrection. It's on the record. We have the evidence. Trump acknowledged to one of his co-conspirators that the rigged election claims that he pushed every single day are, quote, crazy. When he tried to get Pence to overturn the results, reject the results during the procedural hearing, Trump said to Pence, Mike, you're too honest. Which implies, I know I'm lying. I want you to lie on behalf of me as well. He tried to force the Justice Department to open up sham investigations, election crime investigations, something where even a political hack like Bill Barr had to say, I'm not doing that for you. You didn't win the election. Let it go. They tried to force the Justice Department to send letters to the states fraudulently saying that they identified significant concerns that may have impacted the outcome of the election. Guys, even after the violence on January 6th, Trump and his staffers were on the phone trying to convince congressmen, we still want you to reject the results of the election. We still want you to do that. Internally, in their own emails, they referred to it as fraudulent electors. Fraudulent electors. They admitted it was illegal internally. And you want to let it all go. Again, for once in your life, for the love of God, can you stand on principle? Can you say, no, this guy committed 91 crimes, so the record should state he committed 91 crimes. We're going to point out that he committed 91 crimes from now until the end of time. Because he is a criminal, and he gets away with it. And instead, you want to aid and abet him. You want to help cleanse his image. Well, it doesn't matter how much you try to cuck yourself to him. He's still going to try to get retribution. He's still going to try to do vengeance. Wake up. This is the last thing that we need in a moment like this. I don't know what it is, but there are so many people in this moment who, instead of realizing, hey, you know the resistance that we had in 2016? We need to triple that because we already know who he is. We already know how disastrous his policies are. Instead of doing that, a lot of people, well, I don't know. Maybe in some ways we can hold hands and sing Kumbaya and we can maybe work together and maybe get some stuff done and maybe unite the country. I love this idea. It's always on the Democrats to unite the country, isn't it? This is what Clyburn's, oh, yes, Biden needs to try to unite everybody. Really? Was Trump uniting people when he was out there saying, I'm going to deploy the military